Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/malicious compliance. In today's episode, I bent the rules and gave you a $50 discount and you're still not happy? Enjoy the $15 one instead that you were initially meant to get. You want to stay on the line until your issue is resolved? Sure. Is the water still too cold? Okay, I quit then. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I bent the rules and gave you a $50 discount and you're still not happy? Enjoy the $15 one instead that you were initially meant to get. I used to work at a call center for a large Canadian telecommunications company. They are a service provider for TV, internet, home phones, and cell phones. I was a customer care agent, and at the time I was working in the end of promotions department. I'd be the person you speak with when your 1 or 2 year discount was set to expire. I had been through many different departments before I was moved to the end of promotion team, so I had access to multiple discounts a regular care agent wouldn't have access to because they never changed my authorization when I was moved to the new department. This allowed me to bend the rules quite a bit when it came to renewing promotions for some customers. Now most care agents have limited discounts they can give. Typically the system would generate a discount for a customer's account based on their tenure and services with us. That's what the company claimed, which I find to be bullshit, as I have seen accounts that were created back in 1999 that would be tagged for only $10 off, and sometimes nothing at all, and they would have to pay in market rates. This is where my access level came in handy. If I spoke with a customer who was super polite and gave me no trouble or stress, I would apply a better discount than what was originally tagged, especially if I see they've been with us for years and even sometimes decades. X, tagged for $20 off, give $35 or $40 off instead. Now the company always claimed they keep track if we apply discounts that a customer wouldn't be eligible for, but I think that was also bullsh*t because I did this to many accounts and it never came up during meetings with my manager. So one day I get a call, a customer that's been with the company for a year or two. Let's call him Mark. So Mark's promotion is coming to an end pretty soon, and he is looking to get a new one, and at the same time upgrade his services. He was on a mid-tier TV package, and had 500 megabits per second unlimited internet. If I recall, he was probably paying around $140 per MO. He wanted to move up to our highest TV package, and our gigabit internet plan, which is the highest you can get for both TV and internet with this company. And this said company is not a budget service provider, so typically that combination of products would cost around $180 before taxes, and the price just climbs up depending on how many boxes you have for the TV, if you have a home phone, and if you have any extra TV add-ons. So I tell him I will gladly look into it and place him on hold. Since he was very polite and I was in a good mood, I was happy to bend the rules for him, especially after seeing he was only tagged for a $15 discount. He had a $25 discount before, so he would have been paying $10 more if he wanted to keep his services the same, and definitely a whole lot more if he upgraded to the highest packages. So eventually I come back to him with a $50 discount for 1 year. He will still be paying more for making that change, but it's a whole lot better than the $15 off that he was supposed to get initially. Now all of a sudden his attitude and tone does a complete 180. He starts getting angry and starts getting rude. He was talking as if he thought I was joking when I said $50 is the most we could give him. He went on a rant how he's been with us for so many years, and how he deserves to pay less than what he was paying before, and on top of that get upgraded services. I explained that unfortunately because he is upgrading to our highest packages, then the increase in price is inevitable. I informed him that if he wanted to, this same discount could be applied to his current services, and he'd be saving $25 more than what he's been paying. Then he pulls the same card I hear so often, like, well, my friend has that package, and is only paying $80, or I see newer customers getting it for so much less, which in most cases, sure, it can happen, but with the combination of products he has, I know 100% he was just pulling these prices out of his ass. He got angrier and was demanding that he gets a better discount, and on top of that he wanted the Crave/Movies/HBO add-on, costs $19.99, for free for a year on top of that for wasting his time. I start to get frustrated and explain once again that it is not something we can do and the $50 is the best we can offer. He asks to speak to retention, which at the time was the end of promotion department, and I explain that he is already speaking with them. He starts to lose it and says he wants to speak to a manager because he wants to pay what he feels like he should pay based on his tenure, which again was only around 2 years, which may seem like a long time, but in this kind of industry it doesn't mean much. We do have a dedicated team of managers that take calls when a customer is going apeshit. Their primary goal is just to defuse the situation, but they are not there to give better discounts if we already went through the best options, and they always made that very clear. I explain that a manager cannot provide a better discount, but I can still transfer him to one, as it is company policy to get them to a manager if they request one, no matter what. So I place him on hold, and what we do is speak to the manager on the line first to explain the situation and the options we as an agent went through before escalating, and then they take the call from there. Usually you're supposed to disconnect from the call once you patch the customer through, but sometimes I like to stick around and mute myself just to listen to the manager tell the customer the exact same thing I already told them. Their reactions are usually priceless, LOL. So I explained to the manager, we'll call him Fred, that I had already offered the customer a way better discount than what he had before. I was worried they would question why or how I gave them more than what they were tagged for, but this manager didn't seem to care. I explained how now he wanted to pay less than what he used to pay, while upgrading to our highest package, and now on top of that have a $20 add-on given to him for free for a year. Fred scoffs, because they understood how ridiculous that was and told me to patch him through. I add Mark to the call, introduce him to Fred and explain they will take the call from there. Now all of a sudden he's acting very polite again, and says, "Oh, thank you so much, OP. I hope you have a good rest of your day, take care," and continues this act while he talks to the manager, as if he wasn't just screaming at the top of his lungs at me moments ago. I stick around to hear the conversation play out. Fred does a quick rundown of what Mark was asking us to do just to make sure nothing was missed, and Mark says yep, that all sounds right to me. Then Fred pretty much tells him what he is asking for cannot be done, and that I had already offered the best discount we can provide, and explained that most customers pay way more for what he is being upgraded to. He starts getting angry again and starts yelling that he is being mistreated as a long-term customer and is threatening to cancel all of his services with us and move to a competitor. Fred says he is sorry he feels that way, and that if he would like they can start the cancellation procedure for him. Mark had enough and hung up right after. I got a kick from hearing that and went on with my day. A month goes by, I'm taking calls and having a good day. It's slow, not a lot of callers, but the ones I do get have been very nice, and suddenly a call comes in. The account pops up, I do quick look over the account summary, and see the customer's name, it looks familiar. I check the account's previous interactions and see mine and Fred's from a month ago. A big smile goes across my face as I am speaking to none other than Mark, calling us back again. Now this kind of thing is very rare, with a company this big we typically have a lot of callers, and a lot of employees, so it's extremely uncommon that I speak to the same person more than once. I'm thinking because it was a slow day, they had given early leave to the agents who wanted it, so there must not have been a lot of agents online taking calls, thus having this call routed to me since I was unavailable. I do the standard greeting, "Thank you for calling. How can I help?" but in the inside I've got a shit-eating grin on my face because I know he is most likely calling us back, because his discount had expired and his price has gone up. He is either calling to cancel or try and get a discount again. I was right on the nose with that one. He calls saying that his discount has expired, and he is looking to get a new one. Now Mark didn't seem to recognize that he was talking to me again. He thought I was just a different agent because he mentioned he was given an offer from someone about a month ago that he was looking to accept. Here's where the malicious compliance comes in. As per our last call, you said you wanted a discount based off your tenure? Sure thing, as a matter of fact, the system has already generated a whopping $15 off based on that. I explained that unfortunately because he is calling after his discount has ended, the original discount we had offered is now expired, and now we only have a $15 discount available. He starts to lose it again. Now in some cases this actually does happen, where if a discount isn't accepted before the other one expires, the new offer also expires and cannot be added. I can agree it's some slimy shit that this company does so they get more money. In this case, because the original $50 discount was never supposed to be given in the first place, I was able to say this and only offer what he was really tagged for. Once again he begins to lose it. It plays out the same as it did last time. I explain that this is the best we can offer, he throws a fit, wants to speak to a manager. Again, managers are not there to apply better discounts. Sometimes we do have something called a documented promise where if in the notes someone was offered something, say $50 off and it didn't go through, we can still apply it. He could have lied and said he accepted it, and it never went through, and the documented promise policy would have made it so we had to give him that discount. In this case, because Fred and I both wrote in the notes that he declined that offer, it was gone for good. I once again transfer him to a manager and stick around to hear the fallout. The manager did not budge, told him the same thing, that $15 off was the only option, and once again it ends with him hanging up. I unfortunately never figured out what happened with Mark's account, but here's what could have happened. He is still paying the in-market price for his services, which is a lot more than what he was paying before. He accepted the $15 off, and is still paying more than before. He cancelled with us and moved to a competitor, one less problematic, rude and entitled customer. You want to stay on the line until your issue is resolved? Sure. This is going to be short and sweet. I used to work at a call center years ago, and I was working for this American telecom company, phone, internet, and cable, and I was assigned to the state of Texas. So it's football season and of course, a lot of people are glued to their TV. But then, an outage happens. We're getting a shit ton of calls and I'm tired. Then here comes another call from a person we'll call Dr. Cruella. First, she insisted that I address her as doctor. She reminded me of this multiple times, and then she starts ranting about how her cable's out, and that she's in a hurry, and I need to fix it pronto. I made the usual spiel saying that there's an outage in the area, but technicians are already working on it. But that wasn't enough for the doctor. She kept insisting that I have the power to fix it, and all I need to do is push some buttons on my computer. I explained that that's not how outages work, but we kept going at this for about 5 minutes. Then she said, "Do not hang up this call until you get my cable fixed." Well, okay then. I stayed on the line but didn't say anything. Every 15 minutes or so she'd ask me for updates and for me to hurry up because as a doctor, she's got somewhere to be. I say, once again, the spiel. She sighs and huffs, reminds me to stay on the line, and we do this again, until she hangs up after 3 hours. But before she does, she yells at me for wasting 3 hours of her life. I mean, I kept telling you, but you won't believe me. Is the water still too cold? I used to be a server at a locally owned stir-fry restaurant. It was an okay place to work, everything was really relaxed, like I saw the back and wouldn't eat there myself sort of relaxed. It was also really shady. We used to joke it was ran by the Chinese mafia for various reasons. I also worked with a few lifers. Now if you have served you know these women, and for those of you that haven't, a lifer is someone who has been a server their entire life. Usually they have even been serving at the same place for decades. Some are nice and great to work with, but most of the time, they are really horrible, crabby, just unhappy people. They have their way of doing things and want everyone to do it exactly the same. If they do not like you, they will make your life hell, and if you stick it out, they will usually try to manipulate the managers into firing you. Usually the managers know what's going on and just put you on different shifts, but anyway. I had one woman at this place that was always on my case about every little detail. I got along amazingly well with the rest of the staff, and they usually stood up for me when she tried her BS. But one day it was just me, her and one other server who was new. My shift was ending, so I did my side work, including changing the water buckets that held the rags we used to wipe tables, and then sat to roll silver. When I hear it, Yehi Ahikno 2, the water in the serving station is cold. I know it wasn't since I had just changed it out. But I get up and change it again, not wanting to argue. It's still cold, change it right. So I get up, go over, make sure the water from the tap is nice and hot, fill the bucket, and go back to my rolling. Yehi Ahikno 2, the water is still cold, change it right, or I will have manager write you up. Cue malicious compliance. The water that we brew coffee in gets well over 200 degrees, but she wants the water hot. So I go up and fill the bucket directly out of the big industrial coffee brewer. I set it down and go back to my rolling, after giving warning to the new girl, to give the water time to cool. About 2 minutes later I hear a scream. Miss Lifer had plunged her whole hand into the water. Now she didn't get super burned, but she got one hell of a scalding, and her hand was a lovely shade of pink. Even the manager, who knew what was going on, told her, well, you said it wasn't hot enough. She brought her BF in the next few days to eyeball me and play this stupid intimidation game that ended up with him getting physically threatening with me and her getting fired. The last thing the owners needed to have around was the cops after all. The best part is I had gotten a job at a retail place not long after as a manager. Guess who was still looking for work and dropped off her application? The look on her face when I came out of my office to personally accept it, priceless. Okay, I quit then. Reading some other high school and college jobs reminded me of this one. Also, while this was on a phone, I'm sure there will be a few spelling and grammar mistakes. That's on me and not my phone. I type fast and don't double check much. I'll fix a thing here or there if it irks people off enough. In high school I got a part-time job at a food store we would call No Skills. At the time minimum wage was $5.15 an hour, and they paid $9 an hour if you worked graveyards. That was killer money, so I worked graveyards Friday and Saturday nights during the school year. I got in at 8 p.m. and left about 7 in the morning. Black Friday was coming up in about a month and my friends liked to go out and shop around for fun. I requested to leave early at 10 a month in advance, which was approved by the cool manager I'll call Charlie. That night comes and the whole manager is working, well, call him Dave. Dave decided to give the night off to 2 other employees, leaving us very short-staffed. I of course requested my time off a month ago, so whatever, not my issue. I get into work and let him know I am leaving at 10 just as a reminder. His response was, well, see how far along we are by then, and see, I didn't like how he phrased that, but I thought whatever, I'm leaving either way. So it's about 9:50, I've been working my A*S off stocking shelves to get as much done as possible, and go to let him know I'm leaving. He stares at me as says we are too far behind and I can't leave, and to come ask him at 11 instead. I tell him no, I have plans and took it off, so I'm heading out. He starts to grumble to himself, gives this little speech about how everyone else will have to stay super late if I go yada yada. I say I'm still leaving, I took it off a month ago, so it was knows well in advance. He stares at me and tells me if I leave I shouldn't bother coming back and that I will be fired. High school me says that's not fair and whatnot, then he just says I can stay or lose my job. This job is just so I can have spending money, but he seems to think I'm like some other staff who actually need the job and can be bullied around. I just tell him okay, I quit, and started to walk away. He tried to say something, but he just mumbled as he had no idea what to say. He never expected me to actually leave. The next day Charlie calls me up and apologizes for what happened and asks if I really wanted to quit. I told him no and about what happened. He assured me Dave would leave me alone and had been talked to. I later found out he was also no longer allowed to approve time off anymore since he left the store so short-handed, and the morning crew actually has to help stock the shelves because it still wasn't done. Bonus story. I did stay working there and over the summer went full-time. A buddy of mine was jealous of the money I made and also got a job there working graveyards with me. Part of the job is facing the aisles before leaving to make it all look pretty. The whole team would tackle the aisles together so we can talk while doing it. With my buddy being new, we played a little joke and told him that part of facing included shaking all the salad dressings as they would settle during the day. We left him to it and moved on, and about 2 aisles later we notice he is still not with us, and Charlie, who would help us face when his duties were done, asked where he was. We told him the joke and went back to check on him. To our amazement, he was with the dressings shaking them, and had already shaken most of them already. We figured he was being a smart ass and was doing it so he didn't have to face, but when we told him it was a joke he got pretty pissed off, which made it even funnier. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.